Good evening, everyone. This is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show. I am here in Douglasville, Georgia at 4040 Chapel Hill Road in Douglasville, Georgia. I am so excited about today's show. The Focus Forward Robin Show is all about coming from your pit to your purpose. So today's show is a little bit different. We're going to do an interview with the producer, the executive person who is over the Regina Sunshine Global Network herself. We're going to interview her. I'm going to talk to her about some things, why she started this network, what is her why story, and then at the end, we're going to have a girl chat. We're just going to talk about life in general, the ups and downs, the pit, the purposes, and why women go through the things that we go through, and why we deal with things, and how we overcome them, and how we choose to focus forward. So I'm so excited about this show today. So if you would, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a cold beverage, something, tune in, and share this video to let your friends know that the Focus Forward Robin Show is on right now, live at 5. So before we get started, I always like to start off with my sponsors, of those who are a contributing factor to this show and why this show is such a great success. First of all, I'd like to mention Heart of the Carolinas, which is located in Malden, South Carolina. Heart of the Carolinas is a home care company, and what we do at Heart of the Carolinas is we nurture those individuals that want to stay in the comfort of their own home. So if you have a senior that's maybe a mother or father or grandmother or someone that needs that extra TLC to be taken care of, and you're just so busy with working and doing your own thing that you know that they want to stay in their own home, we would love to service you. All you have to do is contact me, Robin Shockley, at Robin at the Heart of the Carolinas, or you can come to our office that is in Malden, South Carolina. Another sponsor that I have for the show is Miss Tangi Roseborough. She is with the Pain to Purpose magazine. I am a contributing author in her magazine, and what is so cool about Tangi's ministry is that she travels all around the country showcasing individuals, men and women, and now youth, children, and letting them be recognized for the great attributes that they do in the community. And what is so phenomenal and so exciting is that the month of July, I was featured on the cover for Tangi Rosenberg's magazine. What is so exciting, I talk about my story, my why story. Everyone knows that Robin Shockley is always showcasing other people, building other people up. But I was asked to be on the cover and also tell my why story. So I'm very, very excited about that. Another sponsor that we have for this month, if you like what I'm wearing, which is accessories by J. Jill, and my clothing accessories is by J. Jill. You'll see photos after the show of the clothing that I'm sponsoring today by wearing and showcasing this store. It's located out of Greenville, South Carolina at the Woodridge Shopping Center off of Woodruff Road. Miss Sherry Irby, she is the managing person for this location, and this store is so phenomenal. You can go in there and they have every style, every look, every color that you could possibly want. And what is so exciting about J. Jill, they are offering 10% off through September the 8th off your entire purchases for back to school. They're all about helping other organizations and stepping up in the community to make a difference. So you will want to shop with J. Jill. Guys, today's show is going to be so great. And some of you, this may be the first time that you've tuned in to the Focus Forward Robin Show. Let me tell you a little bit about what this is about. We're all about helping people get out of their place of stuckness. So I have people come on my show, whether you're an actor, you could be a model, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be a community advocate, or just an average person like myself who just hopes to build other people. And you can come on the show and you can share your pit to purpose story. Maybe you've been through a thing and you found out the resolution of how to come unstuck. Well, this show is all about coming from your pit to your purpose. So I would love for you to connect with me. You can reach me at r.shockley18@gmail.com or on my Focus Forward Robin page or Instagram Robin Shockley or Facebook Robin Shockley. And I would love to connect with you and see about getting you on my show. I'm always looking for sponsors as well, which is so cool. And I would love to partner with those in the community of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas even. If you would love to have your business showcased during our commercials or me talk about your business, all you got to do is message me and we can work out a plan for that. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have my guest, Regina Sunshine Robinson herself, and we're going to find out why she is called Sunshine. Everyone, this is Robiin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robiin Show. We're here at 4040 Chapel Hill Road in Douglasville, Georgia at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. What we do here is we help people understand how to think, believe, and achieve a thing to get out of their stuckness. And the only reason why I'm out of my stuckness today, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons I'm out of my stuckness today is because of my very special guest, Miss Regina Sunshine Robinson herself. Welcome.
How are you, Robin?
I'm good. You're used to being on the other end.
It's always odd when I'm on this side of things.
I know,
it's
girl.
Always odd.
We're just having girl talk.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. So, first question is, let's talk about who you are and what you do. Let's start from the beginning, and then we'll backtrack.
The beginning?
Well, no. Let's start from the beginning of right now. So.
Okay. So right now, I am Regina Sunshine Global. Regina Sunshine Robinson. I'm the CEO and founder of Regina Sunshine Global Network, and I'm a author, a talk show host, motivational speaker. I'm all around servant to God's people.
Amen.
That's it.
I love it. I love it. So you have the name Regina Sunshine Robinson. You also wrote a book, Regina Sunshine State of Mind.
That's right.
So tell us what sunshine means. Why did you have that name? Who gave you that name?
Actually, I was teaching at a college in Greenwood, South Carolina, Piedmont Technical College, and I had a student to give me the name Sunshine. And he started calling me Sunshine, and he said it's because when you're around, everything's better. It's like the sun comes out. It's like sunshine. Yeah. And so he started calling me that, and then it kind of just took legs, and other students started calling me that. And I just, the more people started calling me that, my son was like, that's a brand. That's who you are. Mm-hmm. And so I eventually just took the name and ran with it. So it wasn't something that I named myself. Somebody else gave me the name. And now when people meet me, they think it's my real name. They think that that's what my mama named me, Regina Sunshine, but it's not.
Wow. I know, because when I met you, that's just what stood out to me. And when we met, we talk about how we met. We've known each other, gosh, for several years now.
Yes.
We've done networking events together. We've done workshops together. and
conferences,
conferences,
women's brunches.
yes, co-hosting her radio
Yeah.
show. I mean, and everything. And so how we got connected is great because we networked. And what attracted me to you was that sunshine vibe. You know, that was something that drew me close to you. And so we're going to talk later about, you know, why I'm even here, because I live in South Carolina, but obviously we're in Douglasville, Georgia. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well.
Yes.
But let's talk about why did you even start the Regina Sunshine Global Network?
Well, before I answer that, I want to say thank you for having me on your show. And it was your sunshine that drew me to you as well. It was like a magnet when we met each other. Like, that's my sister.
I'm your meanie me. Your white meanie me.
Oh my goodness, that's true. But it was like
white chocolate,
like a mirror image.
Yes.
I mean, we were in that room full of business owners, and you were like a bright light, just like beaming in the room. So,
and what is so powerful to that is because that was in my beginning stages of becoming a motivational speaker. That was literally before I even started speaking. Isn't that crazy? But there was just something that caught us, our attention to each other across the room. I love it.
Well, with Regina Sunshine Global Network, it started a year ago. The actual in-house brick and mortar business. I have a show, Regina Sunshine Show, that has been on a couple of other stations. And my coach told me it was time for me to branch out on my own. I can be very transparent about that. Lanita Mitchell Blackwell is my coach. And I was very comfortable where I was. And she knew I would never grow and do the things I was supposed to do as long as I stayed where I was comfortable. And so she called me one day and told me I had 45 days to leave where I was and start my own network.
Well, you didn't teach me that. You wasn't that hard on me.
It was, I mean, and really, I was like, what? Huh? 45 days? And I mean, it was just that simple. But she and I have a relationship where the agreement is I'm submitted to her because I believe God sent her to me. And so within 45 days, I was out here and had already started this network. And I thank God for that because of just the things that have happened because I did that wouldn't have happened if I was where I was then. So it's always good to have people in your life who challenge you to move from a place of comfort to a place of victory.
Amen. Yes, and I can testify to that. So tell me what this vision is for the network, Regina, because first of all, have you always been the jolly person that you are?
Yes, this is just who I am. I mean, it is. That's why I think the name Sunshine fits me so well. But it's by design. My mother is the original Sunshine, and she, has always told me and my sisters that we were beautiful and smart and amazing. And when that's all you hear, you walk through the world a little differently than most people. And so life was spoken into us and over us every day of our lives. My mother has always been my biggest cheerleader. I'll be 47 on Saturday. Wow. And my mama still sends me cards and notes and say, I'm so glad God gave you to me and you're so special. How can you not win and shine when you got somebody who talks to you like that?
That's precious.
But with Regina Sunshine Global Network, the goal and focus is bigger than just what people see in terms of broadcasting. It's about community, it's about empowerment, and it is about entertainment. But it's a fusion between all of those things. For me, the long-term vision is to have my own building that is a community center / media production center. And it's a place where we can bring the community in, we can have town hall meetings, we can bring the parents in and have parenting classes, we can bring the kids in and we can do tutoring, but it's an all-in-one community space. But then we also happen to do some positive programming as well. Because as you know this, and the people that are on my team, for me, it's bigger than the shows they're doing. I see you guys, when you walk through the doors, people who would be in my building teaching classes and doing workshops and pouring into the community. So the Regina Sunshine Global Network broadcasting is one part of it, but it is really about changing lives. And how do we do that? By being places where people are. People like media, right?
Yes,
so we put ourselves in a position where they can see us.
Yes.
We put ourselves in a position where we can do events and bring the community in so we can connect with them and they can connect with each other. So that's what the vision is.
And that's what I love, is because through being connected with you, I've managed to have so many connections, and that is what is so cool, is because I've met so many people. You had a lot of influence because you're from North Carolina.
That's right.
And then you lived in Greenwood,
For 17 years.
That's when I met you when
Yes.
you lived in Greenwood. But because you moved here, you transitioned to Atlanta. It's like people just latched on to you, and it's like you just became so well known. Everybody in Georgia knows you. Atlanta. Let's talk about they do, because let's talk about this thing that took place was it last year or this year at the state capitol?
That was this year.
Yes, tell us about that.
Well, I was honored and blessed to be invited to the state capitol by Representative Valencia Stovall, along with 5 other representatives, to honor the work that I've done in the community. And so, they bring you to the capitol. They talk a little bit about you. Beverly was there from the House floor, and they present you with a resolution basically stating those things, that we honor you and thank you for what you've done in the community, those types of things. So it still blows me away, because you and I are workers. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And so we're
It's natural.
just out here doing what we're supposed to do, and then
Exactly.
people recognize you for it, and it's kind of odd, because you're like, but isn't that what I was supposed to be doing?
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly. It's like it just like when people recognize you, you get put in magazines and things like that, or you get these accolades of these awards. It's like it just comes natural, because you're like, why am I being specialized for this? Because everybody should be doing. That's the way we think.
Yeah, that's how we think.
operate. A lot of people, and that is what's so cool about Regina. And I know y'all hear me talk about her a lot, because I boost her up a lot. But she doesn't do it for show at all. There is nothing about her that's about show, and I think that's why I latched on to you, because there's not a lot of people in this world today. There's few in this world today. There's a lot there that can be, but they're not there yet, because they haven't been trained properly to have that pure motive. There's a lot of, everybody's out for something. And the way that you and I operate is we're out to grow together, to help build the next person. And a lot of people don't catch on to that. And a lot of where my platform is when I do my motivational speaking is where you want to grow,
Yes.
and you are all about sowing into other people and investing. I mean, I know we don't get to talk a whole lot, and it's not by my choice or her choice. It's that we are just so busy.
Yes.
However, but when we do, she sets it straight. She lets me know. I remember you told me not too long ago, you said, Robin, because I was going and going and going. You said, you got to find peace right where you are. Because I was the type that I wanted to be going all the time, because I didn't like it where I lived. And it was a physical place where I was living, and I was not content in my tiny little apartment. When I went through my divorce, I had to separate and move into a tiny place from being in a big place. And I explained that to you. And I had held this in because I hadn't been able to share it with nobody. But I felt like I could trust Regina. I felt like I could come to her and I could be open with her. And she said, what's going on? And so I spilled it. And you said, you got to get to a place where you're at peace at your highs and at your lows. And nobody's ever really said that to me, because I've been so busy, not taking the time to let somebody invest that knowledge in me. And it was just something so simple to get to a place of your peace at your highs and your lows. That's all it took for her to say to me. And when you said that, it's like a light bulb went off. When you follow back up with me and say, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And I was like, yes, ma'am. And you know what? When I finally got to a place where I had a moment where I turned the world out and I stayed in my home. It's like, now I love to be at home, even though it's my home. It's tiny, and I won't always be here, but it's my home, and I can be content where I'm at, because I finally have that peace within myself. And that's the vibe that you give off. That's that positive energy that when you speak, it matters. It's not just something you're blowing smoke, trying to be a booster to try to cheer somebody up. You are the real, authentic sunshine. I really want to say that.
Well, I love you, Robin. And I was sitting there watching you run around like a crazy person. And I knew it was because you were running from something. Yes. And I was like, I need you to
You called me
still.
out on it, too.
Yes. I was like, look at her. There she is. Look at her.
Yes.
But and I'm thankful that we do have the kind of relationship where we can be open with each other, and we can be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because we are people who are out front. And people see us all the time, and we are very positive people. People expect that we're always happy, and we always have, and our lives are perfect, and everything is great. But we need to have people that we can be vulnerable with, because people expect me when I show up. I'm not supposed to be having a bad day, right? You're Regina Sunshine. They want
You're
you to
Bubbles.
suck it.
I'm Bubbles. She's Sunshine.
Thank you. They want you to suck it up and bring the sunshine.
Exactly.
But when I talk to you, I can say, Robin, I'm having a hard time, and you can be like, girl, tell me what's going on. And everybody needs somebody that they can be vulnerable and be themselves with, and who understands them. And because we're on similar journeys, then we understand some of the things that are happening.
And that's why it's so important to know who you're connected to, because when you are linked up and connected to the right people that are going in that same direction, your visions may not be out, which our visions are the same, but in a lot of cases, visions aren't always, the goals are not always the same, or the dreams are not always the same, but the vision should link up and match.
Yes.
And they should be the same. So, your purpose may be you want to go out and you want to heal world hunger, and you want to go out and do missions work, but you have a vision to make an impact and difference. I want to impact people's lives and help build them and help them have confidence to believe in their dreams. But the thing is, I want to make impact as well. So our vision is the same, but our goals and dreams are different. And if you're linked up with the person who has that same vision, it doesn't matter about the other, because you're going to still be going in that same direction.
Yes. And then, they happen to be a good girlfriend, friend,
Yeah.
That makes a difference. Because sometimes we don't want to be sunshine and bubbles. We just want to just be a woman.
That's right. And we're going to talk about that in the second part of the segment. We're going to talk about womanhood for sure. Women after their 40s. We're going to really get into that. So with that being said, because we do have moments of downtime and stuff, and we're not always bubbles and sunshine, like she says, what kind of challenges have you faced with this journey that you've been on, being the motivational speaker, the life coach, the entrepreneur, and now the CEO of a network? What kind of challenges do you face, and how do you overcome those?
In my book, Regina Sunshine State of Mind, I talked about some of the things that are ongoing challenges for me. And I say that because every time God elevates you to another level, you see another side of whatever that challenge is. You think, well, I overcame that, but now you're in a different space, and a lot of times we'll come at you in a different way. And for me, one of the biggest things is this battle with loneliness. And it's an ongoing thing that has been around most of my life. And it's not that you feel alone in the sense that you're completely by yourself, but because you've been called to a space that most people aren't familiar with, there are not many people you can have those types of conversations with. And so a lot of times it's just you and God, and that's it. Because there's and most other people, when you try to tell them what's going on, they don't get it. They don't. So it's like a waste of time to have those conversations. So I always felt different. I mean, I've always felt like I was, I didn't fit in my life. And that's been the thing, this journey of loneliness. And my pastor told me a couple months back that this was just a part of this journey. He said, if you talk to most people that have a big call in their life, or pastors that lead big ministries or whatever, what you're going to find is most of them have the exact same struggle, because the people around them don't get it.
Exactly.
They don't get where they are. And so that's that. Number two has been the financial struggle, because I went from working for someone to now, if I don't make the money, I don't pay the bills. In other words, I'm out here in a business that one of my friends says, we eat what we kill. If you don't kill nothing, you ain't eating today. If that makes sense. So if I'm not out here getting contracts, if I'm not out here getting sponsors, if I'm not out here about this business, there's no check that's going to show up in my bank account to pay the bills. If I don't get out and do it, there's nothing to fall back on. And whenever Lanita gave me that challenge to leave at 45, that's immediately you start thinking, but so I'm gonna leave my job. I'm doing, and in your mind you're like, that doesn't make good sense, right?
Yes.
But what it ended up being for me was a faith journey. Do I trust God? Do I really believe that he is who he says he is? And that, as Miss Lorraine Thomas says, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. Do I believe he is going to show up and take care of me? Or am I going to stay where I am because I'm afraid?
Wow.
And so there were times where, and Robin, I'm sure you can attest, it's the day before something's due and you're like, okay, Lord, where this money at? Where's this money at? And then he shows up with it. And it's a reminder that you don't have to be able to see everything. You just have to trust that he does.
Exactly.
And as long as he sees everything and you trust him and you are obedient.
Because we're walking by faith,
Yes.
not by sight. Exactly.
Yes, and so the financial part has been a faith journey for me.
Okay.
And everything I've needed, he's provided. And it's always been more than enough.
So how you overcome those challenges daily, and you're still dealing with it, is trusting the process.
Absolutely, because
Yes.
you know, one of the things we want so often is to see the whole picture.
Yeah.
God, just show me how it all is going to work out. Show me where the money is going to come from. Show me where the people, all of that. But it doesn't require any faith if we know what's going to happen.
That's right.
If we knew everything, would we run to him, Robin? Will we run to him with those things if we knew
It
exactly?
keeps us humble, though, don't it, Regina?
It does.
It keeps us humble when we can learn to trust that process. And you may be watching today, and you have a vision, and you have a dream, and you want to have success in your life. You might not want to be a host or a network producer or whatever, but you may want to just start your own business, or you may want to get involved in the community, and you want to build your own organization, and you're watching this, and you're like, what can I do? Well, you know what? Take it from those that have been trailblazers and lead the way to say, you know, it's not always going to be up all the time. There's going to be some down moments, as Regina just shared, but to trust that process and to take that leap of faith, to step out and walk by faith, not by sight, and believe that what you think you can achieve. You got to believe it, though. You got to get it in your mind to say you can do this, and you got to start speaking these things. One of the things I do is, everybody knows, I talk about I have affirmations all over my apartment. I'm constantly speaking over myself. Driving, everybody knows I love road trips, and that's why, one of the reasons why I drive the distance is because that gives me time to reflect on my own personal life. And so things are not always going to be up all the time, but during those fillers, during those pause for a cause moments, you have to reflect on who you are.
Yes.
And recognize your identity of what you can become and what you desire to become. And then you can, as you're looking at everything, say, okay, now I can step back in it, and I can make out a plan. I can write it down. And I know with everything that I've accomplished in my life, and I'm sure you have done this too, you've written it down.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
I have tablets and tablets
Oh,
of
yes.
things where I just, write words. And my friend John McClung, who's out of Georgia here, he does this acronym show on Monday nights, and he takes words and he breaks them down by the letter.
Yes.
And so on the way down here, I was driving, and there was this big old truck, Regina. And this tells you how, when I talk about
Signs.
yes, I'm a signs girl. I'm all about those miracle signs and wonders. Everybody knows I speak about it. You can go to my Focus Forward Robin blog page on my website, and you can read about my signs that I talk about. But I was driving down the road, and there was this big old transfer truck, and on the name that was on the truck was Swift. And automatically the words that came to me was single women in focus today. Single women in focus today. And I'm like, okay, God, what are you saying? Are you pulling me more? Because I'm for everybody. I'm for the kids. I'm for the youth. I'm for the seniors. I'm for the men. I'm for the women. I'm for the couples. I'm for everybody. Even though I'm not married, I'm still for the couples. So I'm thinking, God, what are you doing? So I'm like, okay, God's about to transition me into doing something extra. And so always keep an open mindset to pay attention to the signs.
Yes.
Because even watching this show today, something Regina says could spark and ignite a fire in you to begin something new. Something I say could spark a fire in you to begin something new. Just like with me seeing that sign, I'm thinking, okay, God, or you want me to start a show called Swift? Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that's a possibility, or maybe it's a blog. Who knows? But anyway, with that being said, we talked about the challenges, but let's talk about being a host, because what would you say is the most important quality to become a successful host? Because you trained me, you're my coach. And so even though when I came in, I was actually knew a lot and stuff, but I still had a lot to learn. And you taught me a lot on how to talk and how to speak, and try not to use my hands as much. I do that a lot. But what would you say is the most successful quality of being a host?
If you're hosting a show that involves interviewing other people, and that's what most people think when they think about a host.
Yeah.
the most important thing a host can ever do is create a space and an energy where your guests feel relaxed and like they're just having a conversation with
Exactly.
you. Because if they're anxious and they're uptight, then your interview's not going to go well.
Yeah.
But being a people person, a lover of people, just make them feel comfortable
Yes.
and accepted and loved.
Yes,
That makes all the
exactly.
difference. And that's one of the things I shoot for. And at the end of most interviews, I'll ask my guests, I said, did you forget about the camera? They're like, yeah, we were just having a good time talking. That's what's supposed to happen.
Exactly. Just
That's what's
have
supposed to
conversation talks. So what do you see, Regina, is the biggest hurdle in women's lives today?
Self-worth and self-image. That's easy.
Self-worth and self-image, yes, and
That's
confidence.
easy. Yeah.
You know, having that lack of confidence. And so what would you say, what's something that other women could do to be a positive aspiration to help them push forward?
Well, the biggest thing is you've got to change your mindset about yourself. So many women, and you know, I say this all the time, you meet 10 women, not 8 or 9 out of them have low self-image. They can look good, smell good, have everything going for them, but so often they're caught up in what the media says they should be or look like, you know, what's been said to them, what's been done to them, were they molested, what has happened in their life. And so their self-image is tied to all of this. And the biggest thing they have to do is, number one, identify whose they are.
That's right.
If you recognize that you're a daughter of the King and he calls you beloved and you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you establish that as the foundation, and then you begin to speak those things over yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, you know, all these different things. You will begin to change that mindset. And what I found with women, our decisions are based on how we feel about ourselves. So women tend to accept relationships that aren't good for them because I don't feel like I'm worthy of anything else. Or accept, you know, they make decisions in life according to how they see themselves. They don't feel worthy enough to go for this job promotion, so they won't. You know, they don't feel like, you know, well, nobody in my family has ever been to school, so why should I go to school? You know, so there are things and opportunities they won't even take in life because they don't think they're worthy of having them. So if we can establish your worth, if we can, you know, settle the score forever about who created you and that he loves you and he has purpose for your life, and now you begin to believe that about yourself, everything changes.
So how do you feel it's important for them to have their voice to be heard today, for women to speak up? You know, the women that, like us, you know, that we have that confidence now because we've been through a thing, and we're going to talk about that the second part of our show. But how do you feel as far as, do you feel it's very important for women to speak up and share their views and what they've been through?
Absolutely. Number one, for yourself. I always tell people when I'm on a stage and I'm talking to a group of people, I get more out of it than they do. It's like I'm ministering to myself the whole time. Whatever the Lord has given me, a lot of times it's for me to give to you as well, right? So when you share, you build yourself up. But the second part of that is you give somebody else an opportunity to identify with your story and begin to make a shift in their own life. And so now that situation you were in, whatever you were going through, that struggle, whatever it was, goes from being about you to being about somebody else. And when you can use what you have been through to change somebody else's life, even if they haven't been through everything you've been through, but they see from your experience that the road they're going down is going to lead them somewhere they don't want to be, and they can turn around quick.
That's right.
That's the game changer.
Oh, goodness, girl. Okay, we are going to take a quick break and stay right where you're at, because we're going to come back and we're going to do some more real talk. So we're going to transition a little bit, and we're going to have more conversations. We're going to talk about women. We're going to talk about men. Okay, we're going to talk about the loneliness that women go through, the loneliness that single men go through, and we're going to talk about how we can complement each other and how we can help be there for one another. And I'm going to share my personal life story. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're here at the Robiin Shockley with Focus Forward Robiin Show, and I'm so excited because I have my guest, Regina Sunshine Robinson from the Regina Sunshine Global Network herself today. So we've kind of went into a transition, and we talked about her story and why she started the network and such, and now we're going to kind of transition into why I started Focus Forward Robiin. One of the main reasons why I even started this show, many people don't know, the Pit to Purpose story, is that I had to go through a transition, and I love people, okay? Everybody knows I love people.
You do.
I'm all about building the next person while I'm building myself. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
I'm about impacting a generation by one seeds we sow a day, on and on and on. However, through the years, I was married for 28 years. And I was married with a situation with my husband, and it was ups and downs throughout all those years. We had some good days, we had some bad days. Well, when we ended a divorce, as people know, that I lost relationships with family members, and it was really tough. And Regina was by my side during that time, and I'm so grateful for her and several other friends that, you know, were my tribe that stood with me. But I did go through a depression during that time. When I decided to step out of that marriage, and it was toxic and it wasn't healthy. Even my children said it wasn't a healthy relationship. And today my ex-husband and I, we're at peace with one another. I have no animosity towards him whatsoever. What's in the past is in the past. Thank God I got my healing. I went through healing of the heart classes. I got some mentoring classes that I went, and I spoke to some girlfriends, and you know, I got some healing. And that's exactly what you need when you're going through a breakup. And it was really hard because I kept it a secret, because for so many years I had to walk in a pretend mode.
Can I speak on that? Because I knew you during those years.
Okay.
And so, I mean, since we're being transparent here about this, whenever you came to me and told me you had left your husband, I was one of the people that was most shocked. You know that I was blown away because you had done such a good job of putting on this face that everything is great and lovely and perfect, that it was hard to believe.
Thank you for
that it
saying
happened.
that, because
Yes.
a lot of people, even family members, my own children, still even today question whether certain things took place in the marriage and in the home, because I covered it up even from my own family. Only select few even knew the details, such as my mother knew, my sister knew, and a few other people had knew. But it was just really hard because I was pretty much out in the world trying to volunteer, do community outreach, teach leadership,
Everywhere.
involved in. I was all over the place because I was drowning on the inside. And I felt like I needed survival mode. And so that was the only thing that was keeping me alive, spiritually and emotionally and mentally, because I felt like I was getting, beat down so much. And a lot of stuff, happened with, like I said, I wasn't a saint. I was not perfect. I lived a life of wildness. I did some things I should not have done. And I own up to those things. And, I'm not proud of some of the decisions that I've made in my past. However, I know that God has a purpose for me, and because of the people that surrounded me when I chose to step out of that situation and that marriage and say, okay, I don't, like you just talked about, you walk by faith and not by sight. I literally had to walk by faith. I didn't know. I had to walk into a new Brave. I had never paid bills before. I had never took care of car mechanic stuff before. Never dealt with insurance. Never dealt with anything. I depended so much on my ex. He became a crutch for me. And I always felt like I could never accomplish anything unless he was with me. And so I wanted to make sure that I was there for my family, because in my family, divorce was an issue. They divorced and remarried. Abuse was in the past family relationships too. So it was a generational thing that I had dealt with. And so I was determined I was going to fight it, because I'm a go-getter. And I'm totally different. I'm an out-of-the-box person. So I am determined that, Regina, that I was going to fight to save this marriage. Even if it wasn't God's will. In my mind, I'm not even thinking about it being God's will. I just want to do what Robiin wanted to do. And so I stayed in a marriage when I knew it wasn't even God. You know? Now, my children are everything to me. I love my son. I love my daughter. I love my grandchild. I love my son-in-law. But I'm telling you, you do not stay in a marriage because of children. And I know that now. And if I had made the decision years ago to walk away, things may be a little bit different than what I had to face over the last 2 years. I do not put that hurt, pain, or anything on anybody. But I will tell you, I do not regret anything that I went through. I don't regret. I believe, and a lot of people don't agree with me on this because you've been through some things, but I believe that everything happens with a reason, for a reason. That means there's a purpose in it. Not that it was purpose that the bad things happened to you. It wasn't purposeful for me to go through the hell that I went through. But the purpose that came from that pain, it can help someone else, and it helped heal me. Because looking on the outside after I walked away from this, I'm like, wow, I had forgot about this, I forgot about that, because I hid it so deep down in. But then I started talking about it, I started writing about it, and not only did it heal me, it helped process to help somebody else.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't get that because they want you to hush. And with me saying that I've kept things so secret for so many years, I was bottled up with so much inside of me. Today, everybody knows I have a loose mouth. Not negative. I'm not negative. But as far as like, I'm pretty open about my life. I'm pretty transparent. And you know what? I got stood up this past weekend, and I talked about that earlier.
You did.
It's not a big deal to me. I'm okay with that. Now, years ago, because of the insecurities that I had before, I've been so depressed, and so I don't care about that. You know, he just missed out on a good woman.
He did. If you watch it.
Well, he's not watching because he's not on social media.
I want to say this, and you know, I'm one of those people that was around, and you know, I loved LX, and I still love him. I still love him, and but I watched what you went through publicly. I watched the people who turned away from you, and for you to go through what you went through on a public platform. And Robiin, everybody knows, in that area, everybody knows the name Robiin Shockley, and people are so quick to judge what they don't know. And I saw you hurt and still get up and fight. And I saw you bleeding and still get up and fight. And I saw those times when you and I talked and you just wanted to see your daughter and your granddaughter, and you still got up and fought. Some people would have gone to a corner and just given up, but you didn't give up. And not only did you not give up while you were fighting, you let people know what was going on, because there are people who needed to hear so that they could heal. And so if they were in those situations, they could say, you know what? I can get out, and it will be okay eventually. And the day you sent me the picture of you and your daughter and your grandbaby, the day I knew was coming, because I told you, I said it's going to happen. Well, I reflected on everything you had to fight through to get to that moment. And I just have to say, I'm proud of you, because a lot of people wouldn't have been so public with it. A lot of people wouldn't have fought the way you fought. And because you fought, you're here today in a whole new life.
Oh my gosh.
Living your dreams, doing things you love.
I mean, think about it. And you know what? You've
I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited.
And Regina, you've walked this journey with me. I mean, you gave me the opportunity to be in my first magazine, you know, to to publish my first article. It's been a dream for years. I quit journalism class the first week, guys, in high school because I was so insecure because of the people in there, because they were the classy kids that were in there. And I wrote a blog about it, on my website, and you can read it. But, I didn't have that confidence that I could follow through journalism class. And so I quit. I became and I've never quit things, but that's one of the things that I did quit. And so you gave me my first opportunity to be showcased in a magazine, and now I write for another magazine and another magazine, and I was just featured in the cover.
Yes.
And also I want to do shout outs to Upwards Motivational Magazine in India, guys. India. I was featured in this magazine, 2 pages, which is pretty awesome. It's on my flyer on the commercials.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing. And it started with you because you believed in me and you saw the ability of what I could offer. And it's people like that help make a difference, that gives you that reason to focus forward. And if you're out there watching today and you don't have somebody in your tribe that can help you push forward, you need to get out of your box and you need to showcase yourself. Let people know that you're hurting. I let people know that I was hurting. I held it in for 29 years, pains of ups and down moments, and I kept them closed in, and I didn't share it with anybody. And a situation came up, matter of fact, last week. And I called my mom. I was in the grocery store, Regina, and I was crying. And I said, Mama, I cannot believe this. I feel like I'm backtracking with this situation that happened. And she said, Robiin, do not go back into that corner that you were in. You've come so far. And I was like, you know what? You are right. And it's because I have people like my mama, my friend, that have my back to say, don't go back in that corner. Do not go backwards. Go forward. That's why Focus Forward with Robiin. The reason why it's got with Robiin is because I want to travel this journey along with you and take you along with me, because this is just the best is yet to come. This is, I've had low points, and you've seen the low points, you've seen the high points, and you know what? It's only going to get higher.
And get better and better.
Better and better.
I have to say this, especially with someone who is as well known as you are, to be open and transparent. It makes all the difference in the world, because people in ministry, being in ministry and all these other things, people assume that you never have problems and that you're never going through anything. Yeah. And for you to be open and allow people that window into your life, give other people who are in some of those high positions who think, well, what if everybody finds out? What if everybody finds out?
I don't care.
But it lets them know if Robiin can do it, it will work for me as well. So I believe there are women out there, women of God. And that's another thing. People think because we gotta
be holy.
Exactly.
We gotta be so holy. We date, we fall short, we sin. You know what? I love Jesus and I love my wine. Yes, I do. Okay? I don't care what you think, but I do, okay? And I know some people are against the wine drinking, and that's okay. I respect you. But that doesn't change who I am, And so, like you said, because we're out here and we're Christians, we live for Jesus. I read my Bible. I do my devotions. I do motivational speaking. I talk about God always in my motivational speaking. Even if I'm at an event and it has nothing, like I go to my martial arts events, I know nothing about martial arts. But by gosh, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bring up Jesus in that meeting about how much I love him. So, with that being said, Regina, you are exactly right, because we are single women and we go through periods of loneliness. And what would you say can help fill that void for the women that are out there, and men, because there are a lot of men out there and they face loneliness too, and they're looking for somebody just to be a companionship, even as a friend, because in this world today everybody's out for something.
Yes.
So what can we do to express ourselves in a way that you ain't got to sleep with us? We just want to be friends and go out to dinner, enjoy each other's company, build a friendship first, and then go from there.
Well, if we're speaking specifically to single women, first of all, there has to be a foundation of a relationship with you in Christ. Because then you're not looking for anybody to fill a void for you. You're not looking for somebody to fill a space that's empty. He already fills that space. Yeah. That other person now just adds to They're what we say that the cherry on top. You know, they're not the meat and potatoes. You already full, right?
Yeah.
I'm already full. You just that extra something. And so that's what I say to single women, to make sure that you work on yourself and that you have established your relationship with Christ. And then you allow him to bring people into those spaces, to add a little something to your life. Focus on your, let me tell you something, nothing is more attractive than a woman who's out here about her business. You out here doing the thing, you living your life, you're pursuing your dreams. Good, confident, godly men are attracted to that because what they see is a partner, you know, that they can come along beside them, that they can build the kingdom with.
Well, you say that. You say that, and I'm longing for that because, it's so funny because, like I said, when I got married, I was 18 years old. I got married right out of high school. I married him, and I'm going to be honest why I married him. He had a nice butt, and he was good looking.
That's the first time I ever heard you say that.
He had a big, nice butt, and you know what? And he was older than me, and I was attracted to older men, and I really liked that. And so, I was trying to really escape out of the home as well, too. So it was just a combination of different things. But today, now that I'm single, I'm mature, and I'm a grown folk now, and so I know how to choose the right, and my perspective of a man is changed a lot. I'm looking for somebody who is a go-getter, somebody that's not a couch potato, somebody's a hard worker, of course, but he's got to love Jesus. First and foremost, you got to have a relationship with Christ. But you know what? You don't have to be all put together. That's the mistake that women and men mess up, because women think, well, this guy's not going to be interested in me because he's so financially stable and I'm just now trying to make it on my own and he's not going to be interested in me. Or vice versa. I had a man say on my Facebook page, his thing is he's afraid or he's intimidated that a woman's not going to be interested in him because she is all out there and he's just now trying to make it on his own. So how can you, or what do you think that we can do to get that communication across that, you don't have to all be put together. Grow together.
Well, this is an ongoing conversation on many platforms. The thing that I'm recognizing more, and I've had this conversation with men that I know, other talk shows, is that we're beginning to recognize that there's brokenness across every level.
Yes.
We've talked about it in our women's conferences with women for so many years that no one has really addressed the fact of our broken men. And, there has to be a healing across the board for everyone. And so the same thing I said about single women needs to happen with single men.
Yeah, I agree.
They've got to find their way spiritually before they can find their way anywhere else.
Yes.
And this thing is not an overnight thing, Robin. It's not. You got to work on yourself and put yourself in spaces where like-minded, spiritually level or equal, being equally yoked is huge.
Yes.
People are. So if you're looking to meet somebody, then put yourself in the place that the kind of man that you're looking to meet might be. And then be open and vulnerable and have those conversations so that he can feel like he can be open and vulnerable.
Well, I'm
with
not
you.
talking about just me.
I'm talking single in general.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm talking to all the women, but it's me and you here.
All of us.
It's me and you here. But I say that because I hear, lately it's so funny. I've been having a lot of conversations with male friends who say the same thing.
Yeah.
That they are getting the same response that you're talking about.
And you know what? With you saying that, I went on Facebook this week, and like I said, I'm very transparent, and I publicly acknowledge that when I went through my first year of breakup, I felt like because I had been hurt so bad, I was told I could never amount to anything. Nobody would ever want me. I'm like, you know what? By gosh, I'm going to prove to you somebody's going to want me. So I thought I could play a man's game in a man's world. And so I got out there and I was talking to different guys and stuff. And some guys, I would talk to them and then I'd ignore them. And I owned it. Okay, I owned it. And I publicly apologized on social media for that. And I know that was wrong because you don't have to do exactly what somebody else does. And I learned that. But that was the first year because I was walking in my new break. My new bold is to come forth and own it. When you make a mistake, own it. Men and women. So with that being said, there are vulnerable men out there. There are vulnerable women. And there are broken men and broken women. And you know what? If you can just link up, yes, you do have to heal.
Yeah.
But there are people out there that can help you. They can be your friend, and they can help you. And then if something was to evolve into something, then great. But if not, don't take offense. My friend Brandy Hunt shared the other day about rejection, because nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody wants to be, let go or denied a date, being stood up by a date. But the thing is, life goes on, okay? Everybody is not for everybody.
Yes.
So we have to deal with our own issues, our own insecurities, and we have to be confident. And how do we get to a place to have that, like you said earlier in the show, the self-worth and the confidence?
Well, going back to what you said a second ago about men and women, one of the things we've got to get away from it is not us versus them. Mm-hmm. For so long,
exactly.
Especially, and I told a friend of mine this, I said, as women, we are raised that men are after something. They do want something, right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so we grew up in this culture, this mindset, we're almost like protecting ourselves so they can't hurt us. Yeah. And now I'm in this space where I'm hearing more and more men saying exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so we all have to drop this mindset that it's me against you. I'm gonna let him hurt, and so if men and women alike can begin to lower those shields and say, I'm just human and I just want somebody to love me. Yeah. I'm just human and I just want to love somebody and have somebody love me. That's a big part of it. Yeah. Now that self-worth and self-image takes time.
It does.
I mean, it's a renewing your mind process.
Yeah, because I thought I was confident
until I
walked away. Yes, you do. You have to continuously.
Every day.
That's why it's so important to have affirmations around. I'm a visual. So that's why I have them publicly all over my place, So that's very, very key. Very, very key.
And I want to say again, it's not going to be overnight. Mm-hmm. Some people think, once they discover they have a challenge in a certain area, you snap your fingers and all of a sudden it's right. No, you've been trained to think a certain way. Here I am for 47 years, however long it is. You're not going to change that overnight. That's right. Because the enemy knows, him and his team know what has happened in your life, and he's going to continue to bring it up. Don't you remember when that guy didn't call you back? Mm-hmm. He didn't call you back. Why do you think he didn't call you back? The next one not going to call you back. And so you have to put yourself in a place where your mind is so strong and you're so sure of who you are and who you are in Christ that whatever you hear doesn't affect you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's so funny because like this weekend I came down here and I took a trip by myself, because usually I'll either bring somebody with me or I'll meet somebody to do interviews or something like that on the go. But I made it all about me. And I went to the movies and I went and saw that movie, Brian Banks, last night.
Okay.
Powerful. It's a true story movie. If you haven't seen it, you've got to go see it. He talks about something happened in his life, and a lot of times things happen in our life and it's not our fault. Some things are our fault, but some things are, and you just got to learn to go with it, go with the flow, and take that time to pause for a cause to realize, hey, I got to fill myself back up. This situation happened to me. This held me back, but I'm not going to let it hold me back anymore. Mm-mm. So I'm going to regroup, I'm going to rethink, I'm going to refocus, and I'm going to choose to go forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think as women, because we've been taught to take care of everything and everybody, so often we don't think it's acceptable or okay for us to take care of ourselves. I have a young lady that I'm coaching right now. She's the first coaching client I've ever had that the only thing we're working on is self-worth and self-image. She came to me because she wants to love herself more. Wow. And that's the first time I've ever had a client who came and she says, I know I could be more for the kingdom if I love myself the right way. Wow. And I think it was 2 weeks in, she told me she'd been feeling guilty because she was taking out time to work on herself.
See, what gets me, Regina, we assume because, we're together, but there are so many people out there that need us to have that voice, to speak forward, and to share, to give them the opportunity. That's an awesome thing because there's so many people that are hurting. They don't have that self-worth. They don't have that self-confidence. No. Maybe they were brought up in a broken home, or maybe they had an unhealthy marriage, or maybe they were rejected from a job, and whatever reason.
A number of things.
There's so many different reasons, and that's why sisters need sisters, brothers need brothers, and it's so important for you to connect with the right people that can feed your spirit. and that you can link up with.
Absolutely. Like you were saying with that whole process, it just takes time. Just don't give up on yourself. Know you're worth it. Know that just like you take care of everybody else, you deserve to take care of yourself the same way. And just love on yourself.
And I think the key is to own up to your flaws and to also recognize that sometimes you have no control.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I think with women, we don't have a problem with we are so critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
My experience with women, we're so, like somebody says, oh, your hair looks nice. Well, not really, I'm having or, you know what I'm saying? We're so quick to block compliments or to see the things in ourselves that we think aren't pretty or aren't perfect or whatever, that it is a real shift of the mindset to look in the mirror and say, girl, you look good today. And I do that every day. I always say, they can't do nothing with you today, girl. That's how I talk to myself, because I need to love myself enough that no matter what happens out here, that you can't hurt me. You can't hurt me because I know who I am.
That's right. So when a situation comes and you are going to date somebody or court with somebody, that there is a difference, they say, with courting and dating, just like pursuing and chasing. I always speak about that. But if you are in a relationship or you desire to have a relationship with somebody, how do you think you should go about it? What is the key element to have a successful relationship where it's public and it's not private and in hiding and it's consistency? What would be a key element for that?
Key element is honesty. From both people. Absolutely. We're in a space right now where what we thought was dating when we were younger and what people consider dating today,
oh my goodness,
it's not the same. So honesty and communication has to take place so that we define things the same way. So if a person is dating and she thinks what dating means is me and him and he's not seeing anybody else, and maybe we're, not exclusive, but it's us. And he thinks dating means, well, I see you today, and then I'm going to see Sarah on Wednesday.
Exactly.
And if y'all don't have the same definition of dating, that's a problem.
You got to communicate and be honest with one another.
Honest, open communication where we know we're on the same page saves so much heartbreak and heartache. Because there have been women who have been in relationships with single men. They thought they were in a relationship, but he thought he was single the entire time.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the reverse. Let me say that because
because women do that too.
There have been men in relationships with single women. And I say that because it's a conversation we need to have, and you and I have had it. More and more, our men need to be given the opportunity to voice their hurts and to talk about the things that have happened to them, and not just always be suck it up, get over it, you're a man.
There are women out there that want to listen.
Yes.
I'm one of them. I did. There are women out there that are sensitive enough. You just got to find that right match for you.
Absolutely.
Exactly. This has been an amazing show. Gosh, we could just go on and on and on, but our time is up now, and I'm so thankful for Regina, for you being on this show with me today, for sharing your story. Let me share a piece of my story and going through this journey with me, and us just sharing girl talk.
Yes.
That's what's important, that girls need to have this, guys need to have this. So guys, if you're interested in being on my show, you have a story that you've come from a pit to purpose, please contact me. I'd love to connect with you. I'm also always interested in having sponsors to showcase on my show. I'd love to have you. So please message me again at r.shockley18@gmail.com or Focus Forward Robin on Facebook or Robin Shockley on Facebook. And until next month, you guys have a blessed day.